welcome once again to the Morning Brief. And of course, we have several stories that topped the list today. We'll be bringing you those stories. And we begin with security matters and what appears to be a new commitment between the federal government and the Northwest governors to tackle insecurity challenges in the Northwest region of the country. Well, the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, and the governors of the Northwest at the opening of the Northwest Peace and Security Summit in Katsina State agreed that the time has come to drop political affiliation and join hands to end the header farmer crisis, banditry and general insecurity in the country. Well, according to him, the sum of 51 billion naira has already been approved by the federal government to fight against insecurity in Nigeria.
To build pragmatic solutions to our security compromises, we are strengthening collaborations among the services and other security agencies to ensure a unified approach. One of the non-kinetic interventions we have rolled out is the Fulako Resettlement Initiative. We believe it is a timely solution to address some of the root causes of disputes and insecurity in the Northwest. Our choice of Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Zamfara, and Kaduna states, and by including Benue and Niger State for inclusivity for the pilot phase, is strategically planned to create positive nationwide transformations. The comprehensive plan includes building residences, roads, schools, and essential facilities, fulfilling our pledge to the nation. The President had approved, and we have secured 51 billion naira in our custody.
Meanwhile, the governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, says that the inaugural Peace and Security Summit put together by the Northwest Governors Forum and the United Nations the development program will help governors of the region in addressing the hydra-headed security challenges plaguing the Northwest zone. On his part, the governor of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, believes the summit with the theme Regional Cooperation for Securing Lives and Livelihoods will actually help the governors of the Northwest region and other stakeholders in developing a template for ending decades of underdevelopment in that region. And the Kano emirate conflict, which began on May the 23rd, 2024, after Governor Abba Yusuf reinstated Muhammadu Sanusi II under the throne Aminu Ado Bayero, has led to multiple court cases. Ado Bayero and Baba Gundi have filed suit regarding human rights jurisdiction and the removal of the dethroned emir and 4 others. The emirate's leadership remains in limbo, with increased security in the Kofar Kudu Palace and the Nasarawa Mini Palace. Our correspondent Nanchin Vincent reports that the Kano State High Court, led by Justice Amina Adamu, has adjourned the case to July the 2nd, 2024 for further hearing. And following the crisis currently rocking the local government councils in Rivers State, most of the 21 out of the 23 former chairmen have led protests in their respective councils. The former chairmen, who led a sizable number of protesters through the streets, demanded that Nigeria police continue their occupation of the various councils, among other demands. And the Federal Capital Territory Police Command has apprehended 4 suspects in connection with the murder of retired Brigadier General Umen Harold Udokwere, he made this announcement by the FCT Commissioner of Police, Bennett Igwe, during the press briefing at the command headquarters in Abuja, where the suspects were paraded alongside others arrested for various crimes. The commissioner also declared 2 additional suspects wanted in connection with that murder. He noted that the command has successfully apprehended several notorious kidnappers and their accomplices, including Isaiah Mohammed, who's an escapee from Kuje Correctional Center, and their chief informant. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, is again asking Nigerians to partner with the Nigerian Army and other security agencies in the fight against insecurity in the country through the sharing of timely and credible information. He was speaking at the roundtable in the Asymmetrical National Security Challenges organized by the Nigerian Army Resource Center in conjunction with the Development Specs Academy in the nation's capital, Abuja. According to him, security is a society's responsibility, which cannot be left entirely in the hands of security agencies.
The position of the army to all forms of threats is that we will work in line with the constitutional provision to combat all enemies of the state and bring about the much desired peace and stability across the country. In the area of asymmetric threats, I know that it connotes different meaning to different people. And that is why the army is open to ideas, is open to opinions from all segments of the society. And that informs this roundtable discussion that has been put together by the Nigerian Army Resource Center and the Development Specs Academy, that the Army is actively supporting, and we make use of the deliberations and decisions that will come out from this roundtable discussion.
And away from security now, the Nigeria Labour Congress is advising President Bola Tinubu to consult further with stakeholders before sending an executive bill to the National Assembly for a new minimum wage. The president of the NLC, Mr. Udokwere, gave this advice at a meeting with officials of the Kogi State government in Abuja. According to him, such consultation will help to eliminate possible disagreement, bearing in mind that the tripartite committee did not have a consensus on what the minimum wage should actually be.
This matter is being taken to the president. When we may have, that is, dotted all I's and crossed all T's, it will be taken for him, and it's expected for him or of him to reach out to the tripartite people, not just labor, the employers, people representing government, to see whether they can build a synergy outside the negotiating table to come up with a figure that should be transmitted to the National Assembly. That's our position. Because for him to adopt any of the positions, you see that the other parties will feel aggrieved. But as of today, none of such has happened.
Other health matters now. The Lagos State government has confirmed 579 suspected cases of cholera outbreak, with 29 deaths already recorded. The State Commissioner for Health, Professor Aki Abayomi, made this known during a multi-agency press conference on cholera held in Alausa, Ikeja. He says the state government will continue to intensify advocacy across the state on how to stay safe, and has also activated emergency operation centers to help curb the transmission of the disease.
We have the data that represents the total number of suspected cholera cases, and that number is 579. Out of this 579, we have unfortunately experienced 29 deaths. Most of these deaths were caused by patients presenting very late at a stage where we could not resuscitate them because they had severe dehydration, and many patients were actually brought in dead. Out of all the samples we were able to collect, we were able to identify Vibrio cholera. So this is indeed a confirmed case of a cholera outbreak by a subtype 01 that is known to us to be very contagious and to cause significant sickness in those that contract it. We started to notice cases on the 5th of June. A few cases in our government facilities. It started to rise very gradually to 14 on the 8th and 35 on the 9th. But on the 10th of June, we saw an unprecedented number of cases in our government facilities, predominantly around Lagos Island, Lekki, and Oshofe. And we're very careful about adding new vaccines because there's a general global and national sensitivity around vaccines at the moment. So we have to be very sure that the introduction of an oral cholera vaccine will actually make a difference before we expose you to a new vaccine. We urge our residents to support the government's effort by adhering to hygiene practices, drink safe water, cook your food thoroughly, maintain personal hygiene and wash hands regularly, use sanitizer and avoid crowded places, report symptoms like watery diarrhea or vomiting immediately, and utilize free treatment for suspected cholera at all our government facilities.
Let's delve into the world of business. Multinational consulting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers says that it expects that Nigeria's headline inflation rate, which currently stands at 33.69%, will drop marginally to 29.5% by the end of this year. In its latest economic outlook report on Nigeria, which was released on Monday, the company affirmed that the decline will be achieved due to the impact of ongoing reforms and the policy action by the federal government. Despite the positive projection, the PwC highlighted key considerations for the government in areas of policies that could help stabilize the economy, which of course includes urgently addressing security, social pressure, points of inflation and exchange rate, mobilizing capital to drive growth through market-focused policies, as well as making short and long-term focus on sectoral exports. In sports, Bundesliga champions Bayer Leverkusen will face English Premier League runners-up Arsenal in a pre-season friendly that will happen in London on August the 7th. The match will be a reunion for several players, along with a meeting between livelihood friends and teammate Xabi Alonso and Mikel Arteta, and of course coach and Arsenal respectively. The match will take place at Arsenal Emirates Stadium. Well, that's the top stories for today.